What if the reason your MSP feels chaotic isn't your team, but your lack of tech allocation and resource planning? Steve here, an operational strategist from Advanced Global MSP Coaching, a team of Autotask experts. Today, we're talking about one of the biggest operational blind spots in the MSP industry: tech allocation and resource planning. And no, this is not just dispatching tickets. This is an operational control system that determines whether your MSP scales smoothly or collapses into constant firefighting. Because here's the reality most MSP owners never hear: your PSA is either controlling operations or documenting chaos. And for most MSPs using the Autotask software, it's documenting chaos. Most owners think their problem is staffing. We need more techs. We need more dispatchers. We need more tools. We need automation. But the real issue usually looks like this: tickets bouncing between techs, queues overflowing, priorities changing every 15 minutes, no visibility into the workload, constant SLA pressure, tech burnout, and leadership reacting instead of planning. And the worst part, everyone stays busy, but nothing feels under control. That's not a workflow load problem. That is an allocation problem. At Advanced Global, we've been teaching MSPs how to engineer the chaos out of the service delivery operation using structured tech allocation inside the Autotask PS automation software. And it starts with one thing most MSPs never use: historical workflow data. Most owners guess capacity. We don't. We look at every completed ticket from the prior month and analyze ticket volume by standard operating procedure workflow, time requirements, SLA demand, technician utilization, and queue pressure. Then the service quarter uses the data to guide future tech assignments, not emotionally, not reactively, operationally. If your dispatch process feels reactive right now, hit the like button. This is the kind of operational conversation MSP's owners need a whole lot more of. Here's where it gets interesting. Inside Advanced Global's framework, every client request is categorized into one of 11 standard operating procedure workflows using the underutilized priority field in the Autotask PS automation software. That one decision changes everything because now the system understands what kind of work this is, how fast it needs response, whether it belongs in a queue or a calendar, what level of tech should handle it, and what SLA criteria applies. Suddenly, prioritization stops being emotional. The workflow decides, not the squeaky wheel client who screams the loudest. And this is the mistake most MSPs make. They treat all tickets the same, but all client requests are not created equal. At Advanced Global, 7 of the workflows route into support queues. 4 of the workflows get scheduled directly into the tech calendars. That separation matters because reactive work and planned work should never compete for tech time. When everything lives in the queue, everything becomes urgent. That's when the firefighting takes over the business. Now let's talk about the role nobody trains correctly for: the service coordinator. Most MSPs think dispatching means assigning tickets to the techs and then the techs become responsible. That's not service coordination. Real service coordination means understanding the workflow demands, protecting the technician capacity, managing SLA response expectations, balancing interruptions, and planning future workload intentionally. The service coordinator becomes the operational air traffic controller of the MSP. Without that discipline, growth creates instability instead of scale. Drop a comment below if your team struggles with ticket ownership, overloaded queues, or constant interruptions. I read every comment personally, and I look forward to responding within 24 hours. Here's the operational shift MSP owners need to understand. Tech allocation is not about assigning tickets. It's about controlling workflow movement through the organization. That's the difference. Without allocation, techs pull random work. We call it cherry picking. Ownership disappears, not on the management side, but on the ownership of the open tickets. Priorities constantly shift. Well, I want to work on this one today. Oh, I think I like this. Oh, this client? No way. They were mad at me last week. Planned work gets delayed. I mean, you got to pull from somewhere, right? And visibility just collapses into here's the queue and here's all the open tickets. Now what do we do? But with allocation, work becomes intentional. Capacity becomes measurable. SLA risk becomes visible. Leadership can focus on demand and growth becomes manageable. That's how you move from reactive to scalable. And here's the part most MSP owners underestimate. Autotask already has many of those mechanisms that are needed to support this operational model. The problem isn't usually the software. It's the operational design behind it. Most MSPs are using Autotask as a passive ticket repository. Advanced Global turns it into a system of execution. That's a completely different operational mindset. And one thing we constantly see with MSPs entering our programs, they're operating with activity, but no control. Techs are busy, tickets are moving, clients are getting responses, but leadership has no predictive visibility. And when growth happens, the cracks get even wider. Most clients create more operational instability. That's why tech allocation matters so much. It creates operational predictability before growth breaks the system. If you want to see how Advanced Global builds a structured tech allocation system inside the Autotask PS automation software, subscribe to the channel. We're going much deeper into service coordination, workflow automation, and operational scalability. So here's the takeaway. If your MSP feels chaotic, if your queues feel impossible to control, if your techs are overwhelmed, if your SLA constantly feeling under pressure, there's a very good chance the issue isn't effort. It's operational structure. Tech allocation and resource planning are what transform an MSP from a reactive survival mode into scalable operational machine. And that's exactly what we help MSPs build every single day at Advanced Global MSP Coaching. And if you got value from this video, like it, subscribe, and drop your biggest operational bottleneck into the comments below. And if you're ready to stop operating chaos and start building operational control inside your Autotask PS automation software, check us out at agmspcoaching.com. Other than that, have an awesome day.